Hey everybody, this is Jessica Lynn from Jessica Lynn Original Studios with JessicaLynnOriginal.com. So one of my favorite things to do in my pastime is to create these really fun Disney-inspired scrapbook, Mickey-shaped wall hangings, decor. You could probably put them up at your hotel. I used to do a lot of these on my older channel, and I decided it was just too much to have multiple channels, and so I'm moving everything over here to JessicaLynnOriginal.com just to keep it organized and easy to find. So the first thing I do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut out this little circle. My brother Scan-A-Cut is awesome because I'm able to actually save it into memory, and then it just cuts out the same 8x8 circle with 2 ears, if you will, every time, and I love it. And these are so much fun. We typically laminate these and then we'll put them up, and in the past I've done a bunch of rides. I've designed Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, I did Haunted Mansion, some tiki stuff, a bunch of other ones, but this one, I think I am going to go ahead and dedicate this one to my favorite hotel in the parks. I adore the Wilderness Lodge. Now, I have stayed at many of the other hotels. There are things I liked and didn't like about them. But I would have to say, if I were to weigh all of the pros and cons, for me, the Wilderness Lodge is just home. It's just home. Every time I see it, I walk in, you know, the music, when I was in high school, I played a lot of the How the West Was Won and a bunch of other Wilderness Lodge music that you hear throughout. And if you have never heard it, seriously go and YouTube out Wilderness Lodge music, you know, that they play at the hotel or whatever the keywords you want to use. But How the West Was Won, the dun 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 dun, and at the time I remember I played bass clarinet. And it was so much fun because that was my like and so every time, I kid you not, that I walk through those doors that slide open and I'm in the lodge, that is always the song that's playing, and I literally get goosebumps and I love it. So to do this, I found a little logo. So what I'm doing is I'm going to go ahead and use my brother's Scan-A-Cut to go ahead and just cut it out the best I can, because I think that what I'm going to do when I think about the lodge, I always think about, you know, the log cabin, the pieces of timber and wood. I always think about that totem pole. I think about this logo. Now I'll tell you, I have tons of amazing Wilderness Lodge stories. The first year I graduated from high school, we actually went to the Wilderness Lodge and stayed there for, I think, like 10 days, 9 nights. It was crazy fun. And I loved it. It was such a fun trip. And at the time, 96, you know, the hotel was brand new. I mean, it was amazing. And they actually had Pocahontas and John Smith breakfast with Governor Radcliffe and Miko. And it was so much fun. And the John Smith guy, oh my goodness. Very nice to look at. And I remember my best friend, her favorite character in Pocahontas was Thomas. Now, I don't know. Well, you know what? I'd like to hear from you. Do you know who Thomas is? If you know who Thomas is, comment down below, because I want to know if you know who he is. Anyway, long story short, we asked a character where Thomas was, and without losing a moment, the person responded with the perfect answer to tell us where Thomas was. And it was amazing. And I have some really fun, at the time, that was when Kodak was playing around with like the weird 3D cameras and underwater cameras, and they were all disposable. And so I have these really crazy 3D pictures of us having breakfast with like Miko and stuff. It was pretty cool. And I stayed there many more times, and then when I got married, I showed my husband, here's all of the different resorts. Let's save up. Where do you want to go? Now, in hindsight, you know, the Polynesian would have been a really wonderful place, but he had never been to Disney World. So I know, never. And I told him, I said, you know what? I have been there many, 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 many times, and I have my favorite hotels and I have my favorite things to do. And my goal was to show him around and let him just absorb and enjoy. And the Polynesian would have been a great place for a honeymoon, I think, in hindsight. But we ended up at the Wilderness Lodge, and I have just, again, so many stories of when we were on our honeymoon, like, we got burned really bad. And so, one of the days, half of a day at our honeymoon, we had gone out on jet skis, and we did not put enough sunscreen on at all, and his legs actually turned purple. It was so bad. And so I remember the very next day, we decided to opt out of the morning of our vacation and just hang out in the room and just let him just relax. Disney provided us with some amazing, like, green gel stuff that he put on there that, I kid you not, it went from purple to just red. And so we did that, and we watched lumberjacks. I kid you not, like the lumberjack competition. Like, we hung out in our room and watched that. Which, just crazy memories, right? So I think what I'm going to do, I have the lodge, I went ahead and put some of the brown cardstock behind the logo because, in true honesty, I love simplistic things. That's a lot of what I have up at my house. And I would have probably just had the craft brown paper with just the logo, but that really wouldn't have been much of a video. So I thought, alright, let's go ahead, and I think I'm going to go ahead and just freehand. I am totally freehanded, so this is not going to be perfect, but what I want to show you is that you could craft something like this and do this with your kids and have such a good time. And I'm going to just freestyle this. I'm using a black ink pen, so I can't go back and erase and fix it. It is just what it is. I like to draw that way. I draw that way for Jessica Lynn Original as well, although before I produce the stamps I go back and edit them. But in this case, we're going to run with whatever this turns into. And so I went and pulled up a picture of the totem pole, and it's the one where there's the... Oh, does that bear have a name? If that bear has a name, put it down below. I'd love to know what his name is. But I always think of him like as the put it in the sack, bump, bump, that bear. I don't know what his name is. Anyway, he's the bottom of the totem pole. Then Donald, Goofy, and then Mickey. And they're all kind of sitting on each other's shoulders. And it's right in front of the shopping emporium kind of area at the lodge. And so we're going to go ahead and draw this out. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe good, maybe bad. But that's kind of the fun of this. When I create these, they just are what they are. You know, I don't go back in and overly tweak this. I just want to see what we can do based on what we have available. I think that actually kind of adds to the fun of this. Okay, they're not perfect, but they're really cute. I think when I color them in, though, I'm going to shrink it down because obviously I'm drawing it, you know, on an 8x11 sheet of paper, so it's got to be much smaller than that. And I think when I do that, it'll have just enough detail to be good. Oh, I really wish I knew that bear's name. It's driving me nuts now. But yeah, no, this is... I love these. They're so much fun. Another thing I just want to throw out there is that I love to do these based off the ideas you have as well. So if you have an idea for one that you'd like to see me draw, go ahead and comment that down below, and I will definitely add it to my list. I have also done like Bugs Life. Too much fun. Alright, so there he is. So there's what it looks like all shrunk down. You can see it's much smaller though. I just printed it off. Not a big deal. And I know my ruler I have, it's a little dress form ruler. It's for like fashion stuff, but it was the only one I could find. So I decided I'm going to go ahead and draw the logs of the lodge. So one of the things that that it has an impression on me is that the wood and the log cabin feel. So I'm actually going to manually and hand draw like all the wood, make it look like logs, use some markers, build up color. I just think that'll be a really beautiful backdrop. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to draw the lines, and then I'm going to do some splits of the logs because I think that'll help make it look a little more realistic rather than just straight lines. And then there's a bunch of areas on the lodge where there's these vertical metal pieces, the bracket looking things, that hold pieces of log. So I'm going to do that right in the upper middle, kind of just to break it up so it doesn't look like there's too much of that. But I think that will look pretty darn good. So we'll go ahead and add that. Now at this point it's really going to be all about the coloring, so I'm using a mix of Copic markers and these really fun Cali Art markers that I have. And all I'm doing is I'm just going to keep building up wood grain and shape within there. And I'll be really honest, at this point it almost had a Chewbacca feel to me, so I kind of laughed because I was like, oh, it looks like Chewbacca's little waistband in the middle there. But I know when the final piece is put together, it's really going to come together, so I'm excited to kind of see how this looks. And I'm using different shades of brown, and again, because I use like a craft brown cardstock, some of the colors that I'm using aren't traditional. So like you can see right now I'm actually using a pink color, not brown, but because of the cardstock it has more of a brown tone to it. So I did test it out on the backside first just to see how it would look. Alright, so now it's time to go back. Now I did scan this in, clean it up a little bit, and then we're going to go ahead and color it in. And I'm not too focused on the details because when I originally drew it, remember, it was much larger. Shrunk it in, and it's so cute though. It represents them very well, and I know exactly what it is when I see it. So again, if you look at the photo of the totem, it is very brown and red and green. So trying to find enough shades of those colors is probably more difficult than anything else. And when we're all done, we're going to just cut it out with a nice little border all the way around. I don't know if you've been to the Wilderness Lodge before, but if you have, oh my gosh, this gift shop, I love it. I wish Disney would go back to more specifically themed hotel merchandise. It was something I always loved. Like growing up when we'd stay at different hotels, we always got the specific mugs for each of the hotels, like the Wilderness Lodge or the Polynesian or Pop Century or wherever it was, but they all used to have their own unique. Oh, Port Orleans, that was a fun one too, the dragon. But they all used to have their own unique mugs, and one of the things I really love is that they all used to have their own unique t-shirts and stuff too. You know, Wilderness Lodge still has a bunch of those, and so does Polly and some of the others, but I wish they all did. I think that would be so much fun to have at least one new shirt every year, or one couple of special items that were specific to that hotel, because everybody has different hotels that they love and they kind of gravitate toward. You know, like I would also love like a Wilderness Lodge photo frame. Like that would be so cool, because then I could they had one when I was there on my honeymoon, and I got it, and it's a wood grain one, and it's so cool because it has like the whole Wilderness Lodge carved into below it, and then I put the picture of him and I on the boat coming from the Magic Kingdom to the Wilderness Lodge, where you can see the lodge in the background as the picture behind it. And it makes me so happy to see it. And so I wish more of the Disney hotels offered that kind of stuff, because I think that would be, I don't know, just an idea. But I think it would be so cool to add that. Yeah, I love Disney's one of my favorite places. It truly is my happy place. Now, what I'm doing right now, as you can see, I'm taking gray, and I'm going over everything, because the colors themselves are just too dynamic. And if you were to see this totem in person, it's not, how do I say it? Okay, like the castle right now for the 50th anniversary is very bold, right? Bright colors, vivid. This looks like an antiqued totem that isn't, you know, all these crazy bright colors. And as you can see, I'm just going in and adding additional gray behind it because I really want to make it more subtle and not so bold when we put it on there, because I don't want it to look like it was a brand new totem. I want it to look weathered and worn like the original is in the lodge. Let's see how that looks. Oh, that looks so good. So cute. They're so cute. And I didn't do a lot of cleanup. Sometimes I like to just go in and leave things, you know, as I drew them, and I think it's such a fun way. And now I'm going to just add a couple more little lines with some black marker, or the black ink pen, because I want to show just a little bit more wood detail. One of the things that I find is when I use Copics or even the Cali art markers, when you put them on cardstock, especially the craft paper cardstock, the colors sink in, and then they're not quite as bold as they were before. One of the things I decided would be really nice to do is all the way around, I'm going to go around with a very dark brown and just give this an outline, very animator style. So you can see how that looks. Beautiful. And again, just going right around those edges. Nothing fancy, just something to give it kind of its outline. I will tell you, up until I add the Wilderness Lodge, it still is looking Chewbacca to me. But this is the fun of this. You know, you could pick any hotel, pick any ride, park. At first, you can see on the back, I started drawing one of the rugs that's on the floor at the Wilderness, and I decided not to go with that, so I changed it to the wood instead. Totally fine. Let's flip that over. But that's why I do this. You know, I do this to inspire you. You know, you could try this one with your kids. You could design anything. I mean, how fun would this be to have 4 of these up on your door, or however many family members you have, you know, 8, 6, 2, 1, whatever you got, up on your door. And then people walk by and be like, oh, that's so cute. You know, just tons of fun. And there is, over in the Wilderness Lodge in the Boulder Creek area, there actually is a Mickey Mouse as a mouse, like in one of the wood logs. So I've got him in there as a little hidden Mickey up on the upper right hand side of my... Now I am adding a little bit of glitter pen, because when in doubt, a little bit of glitter goes a long way. And I thought, you know, it just makes it kind of sparkle just a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, I think it's going to go over there, so we can counter that with the little Mickey. And then there's the logo. In person, it looks like a lot of brown, but it looks so cool. Like, it looks like wood grain, and it's so pretty. I can't wait. I'm probably going to go ahead and laminate this. And then this summer, we're actually going to be taking a trip to the lodge, so I might actually put this up on my window or my door, so it can be showcased. A lot of people also use these. As I make them, I do offer them available if you're interested. Just email me. I can make you a custom one as well. But a lot of people use them. I'll actually frame them in a 9x9 shadow box. And they look so cool up on your wall. Like, for example, the Mickey Minnie Runaway Railway one that I did, that actually is up on my wall. Now it's all about just a couple more shadows, a little bit more highlight, and I think it is done. I love it. I'm just going to put some nice big heavy dark shadows in there. Now again, these are going to fade into the paper so they won't be quite as bold as what you see here. But what's really nice about adding those is it really makes it a little bit more three-dimensional. There we go. Now, some people have used these in scrapbook pages I've seen when I've offered them, or they've made them for themselves for scrapbooks. Like I said, the framing, or you can put them up laminated up at your hotel. And I do suggest you laminate them because with all the hot, cold, air conditioning, whatever, windows do get very wet. And it's just typically a mess if you don't laminate them because it bleeds all over the place. So here it is, the finished Walt Disney World Wilderness Lodge inspired Mickey shape. Love doing these. It's so much fun. And I realized that L on Wilderness was a little crooked, so after I filmed I did fix it. But so cute. Oh, you can see my Rapunzel in the background. Well, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope that you enjoy these. I hope they inspire you. And I thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you. Again, our website is Jessica Lynn Original Studios, and that is at JessicaLynnOriginal.com. Don't forget to subscribe. Just click on that circle above. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.